Max Supermax. He had a great start to the Barcelona F1, but an end that showed his absolute dichotomy. He is both SuperMax and Superbad Max. So first, a little bit of praise. Qualifying, exceptional. Got himself up there. His start, as always with Max, exceptional. His strategy reminded me of Schumacher's famous 4-stop back in the refueling era, where he basically just went out, did 10 qualifying laps, came in, refueled, went out, 10 qualifying laps, and just did that and just smashed everyone. And that's what Max did. In the middle of the race, yeah, he didn't quite get into the lead at the start, but he did move up, did make that 3-stop strategy work, and that showed Max at his best. But then, later in the race, we got Max at his worst. Now, I do think the team should take a fair bit of blame here, but also Max should have known that with his 3-stop strategy, with his tyre allocation, they didn't have any softs left, and the team should have told him to stay out. So when he asked to come in for fresh tyres, they should have said, Max, you've only got hards, you should stay out and get track position. He'd have been out in the lead on used softs, and I don't think he'd have dropped back further than third, because that is Max's talent, and he could have even stayed at the front or second. But hindsight is hindsight, but the team should have told him that. So they ended up with a frustrated Max. And then, to add to his frustration, knew what was going to happen on the start. Exceptional save again, but that did allow Charles to go past him. And then we had what I'm classing as a racing incident, where he was trying to push Leclerc towards the marbles. Leclerc was like, I'm past you, I'm trying to get off the marbles. And they had a little touch. Now that to me was a racing incident, but it did wind Max up some more. Now George's move, I think that George could have quite easily got a penalty for that, because he did touch Max. He wasn't in full control. It wasn't a lunge that wasn't worth taking. It was a good move, but just when you're talking all these things that are on the edge, just over the edge. So yeah, he didn't overtake Max. Max got on, and if George had got a penalty, fair enough. But then we get, this dual persona of Max, both very fast and very immature and childish, because the team, again, I say George should have got a penalty, or possibly could have got a penalty, and for the team to say give that place back when he was already wound up, he was going to get more annoyed. And near enough every other time the team have told him to do something he didn't want to do, he's not done it. But this time he decided to listen to the team's bad advice and then half give the place back. And then we get to the incident, and for me that was absolutely uncalled for. Some people sort of say, oh, Max didn't turn into George, the track turned and George turned into him. But yeah, he didn't turn, but if you don't turn as you go into a corner and you're going straight on, you're cutting across the racing line. So although he didn't turn his steering wheel, in relation to the track, he didn't turn with the track, and therefore him and George had that tap. Now for me, that is equivalent to the Vettel Hamilton incident at Budapest a few years ago, and Seb got a 10-second stop and go, and then the standard penalty was a 5-second. So for me, Max got off lightly with his 10-second penalty. It should have been a drive-through, a stop and go, or a 10-second stop and go. I'm not going to go as far as Rosberg and say he should have been black flagged and disqualified, because no, it wasn't that bad. It was a very calculated touch, wheel to wheel, to not do any damage to his car or George's, but just to vent his frustration. But you are not allowed to vent frustration. So yeah, he got away lightly. But if it hadn't been for that, we would have been talking like I am still now talking about that set of basically an entire race of qualifying laps from Schumacher a couple of decades ago. We'd be talking about that now if maybe if the team had left him out, or if we hadn't had the safety car. So you know, he's spoilt his own legacy there, or maybe he's just reinforced his legacy of the duality of Max Verstappen, very fast but also very immature at times, loves a good tantrum, loves throwing his teddies out the pram despite his immense speed. Anyway, I thought, you know, I like a good rant, especially about F1, so I couldn't fit this rant into a 90-second short, so here we are with a 6-minute video. But that's what it took to fully encompass everything, you know, with the duality of the race, the dichotomy of Max Verstappen. We needed all of that context. A 90-second rant, I could not have done that. So cheers for watching this first long form video on the channel, and like and subscribe generally for 90-second rants. Cheers.